Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care. Clock spring replacement on your 2008 and other model years Nissan Xterra. I bet if this looks like your vehicle, then this video is going to work for you. So we got two Phillips screws, one in here, one in here. Gonna leave that alone there. Take these screws out here. We got two electrical terminals below. I believe steering wheel's in the straight ahead position. Don't want to be turning things. This here is the clock spring. Wires break inside, giving you codes. So if you're finding yourself replacing clock spring, keep everything straight as you can. We can push on terminals here to release. Pop those out. Push on the tabby tabs. Tabs, and there's also a little finger up here to release. And it should come off. One more tab up here too to push down on. Right there. Got a lock in place here. Leave that on for a bit. So it says sensor assembly, steering angle maybe, steering angle sensor assembly, because we have this connector here. And we don't have it here. Some pieces missing. So I'm gonna swap out these little screws here. 1, 2, 3 screws it looks like, and hopefully this will just come right out and we can slide it on our new piece. It's got a couple teeth on it. I'm going to turn it just a little bit to get it to go in here. It's going to go in this slot here and this slot here, across from each other. Boom shakalaka. There we go, ready to reinstall. There's a little nipple on here. It fits in a little hole for alignment purposes. So here we are, back there. Everything's put together. Then we'll slide these through. There we go. Just use a knife to lift up on these black tabs. There's a small spot here to lift up. And then once you put them in place, you snap these back down. Oh, can't really do it now. Must need to be locked in place. So there we go. Taking off the security device to keep it from spinning. There's a gouge here. And there's a gouge in here, so you can line up your gouges. Gouges are aligned. Plug this back in here. Just has a release tab. Push it that way, like the other connectors. This connector here, need to squeeze this piece right here, I believe. To release that off the steering wheel. All right, we'll put the nut back on. There's an 18 millimeter. All right, so we broke it loose. We screwed it off this way a little bit, 3 or 4 threads like that. And then we just back up here. Whoop. All right, then we grabbed both sides of the steering wheel and rocked it back and forth and pulled it, and it broke loose. And of course the nut on there will keep it from going anywhere so it doesn't fly in your face. Just like this. Otherwise, I'm sure they make a puller for it, but you put both feet on the ground and lean back with all your might and rock it back and forth. You should be able to pop that loose. And then you take the nut off and take the steering wheel off. We're going back together, so put that on and we'll tighten it down. Just 25 foot-pounds on that nut. $19mm. And for the releasing this, you'll see the hole in the back of the steering wheel. Just stick it straight through. Yep, still working on it. Push and release. Yeah. Yellow and orange, pretty simple. Get it in here. Ooh. Then, like I talked about, just get a small screwdriver, small blade, and get it in here and pop these black pieces up. And you can release it there then. All right. We should really just lay that in there and probably push it back in place. Just like that, locked in place. Steering wheel straight. Then we put our covers on. It's got little fingers on it. Little holes for alignment. 3 Phillips screws go in the center. Boom, it almost falls into place on its own. Pretty nice. All right, I'll put this down below. then we'll get things lined up. Yes, it's off a little bit. Oh, there we seem to go. And we can squeeze this together. It should snap into place. Hopefully you heard it. I know you didn't see it. There's our nice seam right back together. Check the other side. All nice back together. 3 Phillips screws up in the holes. You'll see the holes. We can snap this back into place down here with 2 screws. And to separate that, once you get all your screws out, you can kind of pull it apart with your hands probably, and then I also have this to get in here and work on the seam. You should be able to pull it apart though. As you saw, it just kind of snaps together, so it'll pull it apart. Should come together all right. Small screwdriver blade on the seam somewhere should do you just fine. I'd start on the back side when you're pulling it apart. All right, then we got this cover here. It snaps in a couple places here. Screw here, back here, and electrical connector or 2. Push on that tab right there again. Come on, focus maybe. Too much light. It's my lens. But there's a button there to push to release it. Snaps into place. Put our screw in here. Put our screw in there, right here. 2 screws. You got to pull this out a little bit. It just fits on a seam. You can tuck this behind here like that and push your gasket back into place. And then we'll connect the battery and see what we got here for codes or no codes and make sure everything's working. So I'm using a 12mm. Mine were 12mm. They might be 10mm. These are aftermarket connectors, so probably have a 10mm as a possibility. Positive over here. Disconnect the negative first. That's positive right there. Negative right there. I'll say an extra prayer, it'll be trouble free for the next 20 years. So there we are, back together. All right, got a beeper at us. Our steering wheel's in the straight ahead position. We've had it disconnected, reconnected. So we might have to do a adjustment of the steering angle sensor with a scan tool. You might not have that, of course, so turn it off. Let's start it up and see what happens here. Hopefully you didn't get blown in the face. Well, we got no check engine light, VDC off. Button doesn't work, so you see what we got going. We got airbag light flashing, low tire pressure monitor, so we will see. We got to clear some codes probably. All right, with our scan tool, we got a steering angle reset. I'm going to choose yes. And we're waiting. So steering wheel is centered before starting test. I believe it is. Continue. Of course, don't touch the steering wheel. Says steering angle 0%, so that's pretty good. You can see much of that about the glare. So I believe it's reset. It doesn't say done or anything like that, but it is reset. And we're reading 0%, so I think we're pretty good on that. So I'm going to exit out of it and clear the codes. We have ABS and steering airbag codes.
6418, okay.
We did a steering angle reset. We cleared ABS and airbag codes. Hopefully things will go off. Looks good. No VDC, no airbag. Low tire pressure monitor, something separate. So that is how you're going to go ahead and replace your clock spring in your Nissan. I bet if the steering wheel looks like your steering wheel, this is going to work for you. Good luck to you. Clock spring assembly, switch assembly, combination switch for the Nissan Xterra 25560-9, C as in Charlie, H as in horse, 2, D as in dog.